Mark Cook, and we are moving right along this morning, and we are welcoming in John Connors from Unequal. John, how are you this morning?
I'm great, Mark. Thanks for having me.
No problem. My pleasure. You know, it's really kind of an interesting thing that you got going on here. You're a young man. You've got a startup business here. Unequal Technologies is changing the game in protective sportswear equipment. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm with Unequal Technologies. We're a pretty young company. We're about 7 years old. We're based out of Glen Mills, Pennsylvania, but we've created a national reputation in terms of what we're doing with protecting athletes. My boss, our CEO, his name is Rob Vito, is your classic entrepreneur, the type of guy you would see on Shark Tank, if you tune in. And he's always pitching new ideas. But several years ago, he came up with this concept of bringing coated Kevlar and other Kevlar-like materials from the military into sporting goods. And he had this vision that he could create lightweight, highly concealed, but incredibly impact-absorbent technology. And the first time it really played out was actually with the Philadelphia Eagles. When Michael Vick was playing there, he suffered a rib injury. And everything they tried to put on him, he said it was too big, it's too bulky. I don't feel like it's something I want to wear.
Can't move as well.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't want to wear it on the field. So the Eagles found out that we were kind of experimenting with military grade technology.
Nice.
We designed a shirt for Michael. He went out the following Monday night against the Redskins and torched them.
Yeah.
And after that, kind of our birth in sports started. And from there, we started working with professional athletes and other NFL teams. Major League Baseball, soccer, and it's just kind of been our springboard.
Well, what's so cool is I remember that, and I remember you guys designing the shirt for him,
Sure.
and that was the first time I had heard of the company. Obviously, that was what put you on the map. And now that you're on the map, you're dominating the map, which is really cool. Why don't you tell us what happened last Friday, I think you said it was?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, we had a watershed moment for our company. We were published in a peer-reviewed medical study that was featured in the Clinical Journal of Sports Medicine, focusing on the prevention of commotio cordis, which is the sudden blow to the chest that disrupts the heart rhythm and can cause essentially instant death. It's a major, it's a major risk in youth sports, especially baseball and softball. And it was a pet project of our CEO to create protection in that space after he saw there was a tragic story from Garfield, New Jersey, with a young man named Tom Adams who was playing in the Boys and Girls Club up there. He went out. He was wearing his catcher's gear, and missed the ball with his glove, hit him in the chest, and he died on the field there. And our CEO happened to see the news story where his father said, no kid should ever die playing catch.
No way.
No, it tore him apart because at this point he had worked with Michael Vick, Tony Romo, Ben Roethlisberger, all these NFL stars. But he said, if we're not it's great we can do this for these elite athletes, but I want to protect the kids.
Kids, right?
Yeah, so it became a passion project to develop, essentially the world's best chest protector. So he partnered with Tufts University, and there's a doctor up there named Dr. Mark Link, who's the leading researcher in this, and kind of runs all the tests. And he had written a peer-reviewed medical article, several years ago, where he looked at all the heart protection on the market, whether it be a chest protector, a hard shirt, or kind of a supplemental pad. And found that most of them, the best on the market, were essentially 8% effective in preventing commotio cordis. So 8% better than the shirts you and I are wearing right now. Isn't very protective.
Nothing, yeah.
No. So our CEO thought with the technology we have with our patents that we could do more. So it was a long, arduous test that they ran. We essentially provided materials, and then they were testing it in their biomechanical labs up there at Tufts University. It was a 2-year process. But we now have the only padding system that's really testing at a statistically significant level. We're at 95% essentially at preventing commotio cordis. So leaps and bounds of what's out there in the market. What's really interesting is now there's an organization called NOTC, which essentially rates and sets standards for all athletic equipment out there. So everything from shin guards to football helmets. Right. They said what the standard should be. They're now pushing by 2017 to have this commotio cordis regulation in all chest protectors that kids wear on the field. So as a young company that's been fighting to get traction and fighting for our spot,
paving the way.
Yeah, we feel like we're out in front of them.
Awesome.
We're at the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
So it's a very exciting moment for our company.
Well, I mean, you remember playing ball as a kid. When I was a catcher, it was like a mattress pad.
Sure,
My
yeah.
chest protector was like a sheet. It was like nothing, right?
That's our CEO loves to say it's just couch foam.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
you're
all
wearing
it
the same
was.
stuff you're sitting on. You're wearing your
We're lucky we survived some of the things that we did, but it's important to protect these kids because, look, we're not trying to put a bulletproof vest on the kid to play catch, like you
Right.
said, but if we can add to the protection of the equipment without encumbering the athlete, which is huge because that is the biggest thing. You touched on it with Vic, but that is the biggest thing that hockey players say it all the time. I don't want to change my equipment because it changes the way I move. I
Right,
don't like
absolutely.
to feel it. Sam Bradford's jersey. You know why Sam Bradford looks so weird in his jersey? It's because he doesn't like the way his sleeves touch his arms.
Yep.
So instead of the sleeve touching his arms, he looks like a weirdo in his jersey. But that's how he likes it because it's more comfortable for him.
Yep.
So the fact that you guys are incorporating technology into protective gear to make it more comfortable for these athletes, I imagine that there's tons of other companies out there that are now scrambling to try to catch up to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of it's interesting. The protection space in sports has just been booming over the last 2, 3, 5 years. I think what separates us is there's a lot of other niche players who are, they might be deeper in soccer, they might be deeper,
Right.
in baseball. But with our, with the patents we have around the technology, it's allowed us to really, cut across the different sports and create different things. Where we probably have, coming out of the work we did, with Michael Vick, and opened up a lot of doors in NFL locker rooms. Probably where we've made the most noise is actually in the headspace and using our thin, highly impact absorbents to try to help reduce the risk of concussions.
Right.
And we're in the process right now trying to, essentially emulate what we did with Tufts University, with another major medical research university or facility. I'm not sure the best way to say that.
Right.
In the Philadelphia area, we're in the process of kind of working through what that looks like because we've stockpiled all this amazing anecdotal information, stories and kind of on-field studies about how our product works in football helmets to reduce the risk of concussions.
Right, and that's huge. I mean, that's obviously the biggest topic outside of, the actual games
Yep.
is the concussions. And, I would think that one of the universities around here, in University of Pennsylvania, that they would want to get involved with that because it looks good for everybody. You are changing the game, and that is, anytime somebody is doing something different and better, organizations want to align themselves with you. I mean, Tufts, they probably didn't necessarily know what they were getting into, but by the end, I'm sure they were ecstatic about the relationship that they grew with Unequal.
Yeah, so I mean, especially like take the Tufts example. For them, they're not they're a research educational institution. They don't care about the brand. They don't care whether it's if it's they don't care if it's the biggest brand in the world or the smallest. They want
Right.
to find the best protection.
Right.
So we use them to kind of test our do we really have this incredible technology, and we use them to test that as much as they're using us to test what's the best
Right.
thing out there in the market. So it's a really interesting relationship. But getting back to the head stuff, what's amazing is we've had some of these. What attracted me to the company was my college football career ended my sophomore year because of a bad concussion I sustained playing football.
Okay.
And kind of went about my life. Graduated from school, got a job working in corporate America. I was working for a consulting firm in Philadelphia. I was working for American Express. Big companies.
Right.
And the whole time I was kind of a volunteer football coach. I was still involved in the game. And when I found out what Unequal was doing and the promise it had, I was just blown away by it. And one of the for me, as I was kind of making the decision, do I leave kind of a very steady path,
Comfortable,
yeah,
right?
exactly, to go into into a more of a startup entrepreneurial mode.
Dude, you're talking to a guy that became an actor. So, yeah, taking chances, I can relate, definitely.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So what attracted me to it was, so I started looking through some of just these organic moments they had with professional athletes, athletes in the biggest moments of their career. Right as I was going, making my decision about when I was going to make the jump and join the company, it was 2014 during the Sochi Olympics in Russia, and there was a snowboarder from the Czech Republic named Sarka Parachova. Goes off she's a snowboarder, goes off the half pipe, and comes down, lands, smack on her head, 25-foot drop, splits her helmet down the middle.
I remember.
And
yeah.
she gets up, and to the amazement of everybody, she finishes the run.
Yeah.
And then holds up her helmet, and she's got the Unequal green in there.
Boom.
And the only reason she had on was because a few weeks earlier she was at the X Games. She was in their athletes village. It happened to see our tent there and came by and just, I'd love to check this out. And it had an incredible impact. I mean, she was cleared by the IOC doctors, no concussion, cleared to compete the next day.
It's amazing.
And it was shocking. It's like, wow, this stuff really works.
Yeah.
And then for myself, hands-on, I've worked with, countless, youth like, Pop Warner and Pound
Right.
football teams, high school programs, college teams, even some of the pro teams, and have seen the difference it makes. So what we want to do now is really take, on the shoulders of what we've done with the Tufts and getting that published in a peer-reviewed medical journal, bring that over to the football side. And I think we're,
Nice.
we're very close to doing that, which is really exciting.
That's excellent. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some other major athletes that are using your stuff and loving your stuff, and more about how Unequal is changing the game. So, again, quick break on Morning Coffee, and we'll be right back.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Mark Cook. We're having a fine Thursday morning out here today with John Connors from Unequal. John, this stuff is awesome. We were talking about protective sports equipment and how Unequal is changing the game. So, real quick, I want to make sure that everybody knows that they have to go check out unequal.com and check out all of their stuff. It's all there, and whether you need a chest protector, a helmet, or anything else, a helmet insert, you can get them on the website as well as some retail locations. So why don't you tell everybody what stores you guys are in right now?
Sure, absolutely. So the best bet is definitely go to our website. But if you go on there, they have our retail locator. So that'll take you to some of the dealers and big box stores we're working with. We're in 75 Dick's Sporting Goods locations.
Boom, stop right there. They're in Dick's, okay? So obviously they're huge because Dick's is the biggest sporting goods outlet out there in America right now, right?
Yeah.
So when you get an endorsement, and I think that when products make it into stores like that, it's almost like they're endorsing the product, right? It's probably not technically called that, and that's maybe a little bit of a language terminology thing, but when you get a door open like Dick's, how does that change the game for you guys? Because I imagine you talk about the Shark Tank aspect of it, that it was like, whoa, now we really got to get things moving,
Yeah.
and we've got to really raise our game as well.
Absolutely. Getting an opportunity to be in Dick's Sporting Goods is a complete game changer, just because that's where the athletes go to find find products. And if you're not in there, it's almost like you can only be so relevant, right?
Right.
They've got to search you out on the web, and they got to trust. They're looking for validation. And when they would be able to walk into a Dick's, see your package on the shelf, read the package, see some the testing data, see the athletes who are wearing it. It's just an unbelievable opportunity for your brand. You can't get anywhere else. And we're also with East Bay, who's one of the biggest
East Bay's
online
huge.
retailers.
Yeah.
And same thing. I mean, having brands having larger retailers like that buy into what we're doing and seeing the potential in this space of protecting young athletes is just
Well,
game changer.
it's an association, and it's you always want to align yourselves with the top players in the field.
Yep.
And that's what you did. East Bay is the biggest on the net. Dick's is the biggest brick and mortar.
Yep.
So it's a win for everybody, and that's a really cool dynamic that you guys have going on there. Tell me a little bit about, we touched on it very, very briefly, some of the celebrity endorsements that you guys have gotten. And look, celebrity endorsements, most of them come from via paycheck or money. And it sounds like your products are getting endorsed because they work and they're awesome.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the kind of the early stages of the company, especially what we were doing in the head protection space, two of the biggest and the best endorsements we received. Number one was from Kurt Warner, who said, he made a lot of waves when he said, "I won't let my sons play football."
Right.
But he's got young sons who they grew up watching their dad.
How many Super Bowls did he win?
Yeah, exactly.
2? Oh, okay. All right.
You know what I mean? So of course, I'm sure they were bugging him, daily, if not by the hour.
Yeah.
So he started doing his research, and when he found out about our product, he was blown away. And he said, I think all parents should know about this. This is a way to make the game safer, and I want parents to know about it. So, as a guy who's not collecting a paycheck, who has no financial interest in the company, to be out there promoting our brand, especially a few years ago when we were a young company, that was huge. And then same thing, very similarly, Ryan Clark was playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was, again, one of the first guys we were working with in the NFL. He suffered 2 concussions in a 3-week span. And he even, he's even spoken in interviews. He was thinking about, maybe it's time for me to walk away from the game of football. There's a life after this. I've got a family. Maybe I should walk away. But their team neurologist recommended our product, and then there he is a week later on Sunday Night Football. He comes up. He feels from the safety position. He comes up and he pops, and he gets up and he goes, "It's good. It's good." As pointing to his helmet.
Man.
There, yeah.
That picture's all over the office,
All
right?
over the office. And then you got Chris Collingsworth going, Kevlar, it works. You know what I mean?
That's great.
You can't, you can't pay for moments
That's
like
right.
that. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
And that's really from the early days with moments like that to where we are now on the baseball side, especially as we're getting, we have this major announcement coming out for what we're doing with catcher's gear, protecting athletes. We have Evan Gaddis, who's now with the Houston Astros.
Yep.
He jumped on early with us too. Again, not because we could write him a 6-figure check or anything like that, because we couldn't,
Right.
but because he believed in the technology. He believed it was going to keep him on the field, and he wanted other people to know about it. So that's huge.
And we're talking about a guy that is going to be one of the best third basemen in the game for the years to come.
Yeah, I mean, he's just such a Houston Astros as a team. He's kind of been a major spark plug with them since going on there last year.
Yeah.
He can play. He can catch. He can play. He can
Yeah,
play.
I know.
He can catch. He can play the field.
I know most people don't know this. The Astros were good last year.
Right. Yeah,
right?
now they're in the American League. We're as Phillies fans, we're used to seeing him in a different light. But he's been a major part of that. So to have a guy like that who's endorsing your brand is just huge. And then on the soccer side, I mean, right now, probably our best-selling product is our soccer headbands, our Halo soccer headband. And what the athletes love about it, there's other protection in the sport, but not to talk disparagingly, but it kind of looks like something like Hannibal Lecter would wear when you're wheeling them out of the cage. These big kind of contraptions of head protection. But with our technology, we're able to put that into a thin, lightweight headband. So it looks like a fashion piece, but offers this 360-degree protection around the head.
Right.
And it's just really taken off for us because the soccer players, especially the female soccer players, just love the way it's seamless with their game. There's no distractions. It doesn't interrupt them. It doesn't look like they're going to stand out on the field for wearing something that's a little bit weird or anything like that. And so with that, last summer, Ali Krieger from the U.S. Women's National Team came to us. She suffered a really severe concussion during the friendlies as they were preparing for the World Cup.
Yep.
She found out about us, kind of tested our product during the last 2 warm-up games and said, I'm all in. I love this product. I'm going to wear it. I need it to keep me on the field if we're going to make this push to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
So having a major athlete like that who believes in believes in it, trusts it, and is basically banking their career, right? That they're going to technology. That says a lot to the high school and the youth players.
It's unbelievable because what's happening is that this dynamic is like, okay, so we've created these great products and we have this great stuff. Now what? Now what do we do? How do we break into the market that's so kind of already set in its ways? It's almost like I got to re-educate everybody on why this stuff is great and why it's going to be more protective and everything is going to be safer than it was before. So the challenges that you guys faced as a startup in that space, they were insurmountable. And I love to hear success stories that it was a combination of the technology, the science, the need for safety, the need for it, because the equipment that we had just wasn't good enough to be able to protect our star athletes all the way down to our kids. So the fact that Unequal Technologies is doing all this great stuff probably should be worth your attention, right? So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with John Connors from Unequal Technologies, and we'll see what's happening on Morning Coffee.
All right.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Ended up with John Connors from Unequal Technologies.
Technologies, yep.
Yes. It's not one technology, it's multiple technologies. So it's been an awesome morning talking to you about this protective equipment that you guys are completely changing the game. And we wanted to show people some pictures because, look, there's some celebrity endorsements in there, but it also shows some of the products. So the first picture we're going to show is of that soccer headband that you were talking about. And why don't you give everybody a little bit more information about the female star that wore it and a little bit about how it protects your head.
Yeah, absolutely. That's our Halo headband. It's become, we launched it in 2014. It's become, wildly popular in the game of soccer. The picture there is Ali Krieger, as I mentioned, from the U.S. Women's National Team, who wore it throughout the World Cup last year to keep her on the field, and now is trusting it again as she goes, as they go for gold in the Summer Olympics this year. And it's funny now that, I'm sure to the people out there in the audience, next time you go to a youth soccer game, you'll see it on the field, which is amazing. We've actually formulated a soccer advisory board, which is made up of club and collegiate coaches throughout the country. And so the guys who are on the collegiate side go to these, major tournaments every weekend to evaluate and look for players. And a few weeks ago, we're having kind of just a checkup call, see how everything's going. And the guy says, he's like, when we launch this product, you go to a game, maybe you see one or two girls, out of thousands of players are wearing it.
Right.
He goes, this year, it's like 3 or 4 girls per team.
Nice.
It's like there's hundreds of teams there. You see, these girls wearing it. It's unbelievable.
You know what's cool about it, John, is that it's almost like trendy.
Yeah,
it's like almost trendy to be safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
How cool is that, right?
Absolutely.
And you know who wins in that is Unequal.
Definitely.
And also who wins in that is the athlete themselves, because they're then keeping their head a lot safer,
No,
right?
definitely. So I think it's funny because
I love how this works.
the parents are the ones making the purchases, right?
Right.
And if a lot of moms, especially if they can wrap their kids up in bubble wrap
Of
and send it
course.
out there on the field, they would do that. But the kids want to look cool. They want something that's not good. They want to look cool wearing it, and they don't want to encumber their game.
Right.
And if you can meet those two criteria, you're going to win. And that's what our technology really allows us to do.
Yeah, I didn't want to wear rec specs, right? But my choice was see or don't see.
Right. Yeah.
So our next picture is of the catcher's equipment. It's of the chest protector, I believe, more specifically, and how it actually shows the insert of the Kevlar in the chest protector. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this really ties back to the study that was published in the Clinical Journal of Sports Medicine last Friday. Evaluating the fact, looking at the fact there's no chest protectors out there that really were effective in preventing commotio cordis, that sudden death from a blow to the chest. Our chest protector now meets that criteria. We're testing at 95% effective, which is unbelievable compared to the other products on the market. So we're really excited to be launching this product. The timing is fantastic with this article coming out last week. I mean, the flow to our website, you see that pick up just in a few days. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, it's always fun to kind of track that traffic, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Like you watch those numbers, you're just looking at numbers and lines on the screen, but it's still very cool. So this next picture is probably the one that I'm the most excited about, and it's not just because it's baseball related, and Evan Gaddis I know is one of the youngest and best players in the game. It's the hat insert for baseball players, the soft hat insert, and that's important because the helmets, the baseball helmets, are designed a little bit differently than obviously than the football helmets, but your baseball hat offers zero protection as it's made. So why don't you tell everybody about this insert that you guys made?
Yeah, absolutely. So our dome is designed to fit into soft caps so that, again, you can offer head protection to the players on the field. It's especially popular with pitchers. We had several pitchers last year in Major League Baseball wearing it. Neil Rogers from the Yankees, Hector Torres from the White Sox, a couple other guys who have either been hit by a comeback or have one whiz by their head and knows what that feels like.
Yeah, Mitch needed one of those.
Yeah, right.
But here's as I mentioned, Mitch Williams, a wild thing for the Phillies. Sorry, a little inside joke. But let's talk about why this is so important. because not only is it offering a protection that was never offered before, it's not deforming the hat to the point where the player looks like a freak wearing it on the field.
Right. There was a pitcher from, I believe it was the Mets or the Padres, I can't remember, a few years ago, who came out wearing a product that's made by one of our competitors.
Yeah,
And
it was huge.
yeah, immediately there was the
Yeah.
Moon Man comments
Yeah.
and Gazoo and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So again, it goes back to really what makes our technology so accessible to so many athletes is low profile, incredible protection, and a low profile fit that doesn't disrupt them from their game.
Quite frankly, you wouldn't know that he's wearing
No.
it unless he told you.
No, that's honestly, as a brand, that's one of the struggles for us, right? A lot of
Right.
our protection is concealed. And
Right.
You don't see. It's not like when you turn on the game and immediately you can see a swoosh or the UA.
Right, different
You know what I mean?
logos.
So for us, it's
Yeah.
as a disruptive technology, one of the things we struggle with is how do we break through and how do we do
Right.
people know. One of our guys likes to say, like, most athletes don't know until they take that first hit.
Right.
How good it is. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So yeah,
But you know what, John? You guys are doing the right thing. You're doing things like this, and you're trying to get the word out there. The more people that you can touch, the more people are going to get it, and that's a really cool dynamic. So, the next picture that we want to talk about is the technology call out. Is that correct, Keith? Back there?
Yeah,
So go for
absolutely.
it.
So we've talked a lot about the technology. Really haven't dived into what it is exactly. I mean, the way it works with we take we coat a military grade weave. So whether it's Kevlar or Kevlar-like material that's used to absorb and disperse energy. So we coat that with a urethane and then marry that to a proprietary closed cell foam that we own. So basically, what it acts like is almost like a trampoline. The impact comes into it and then gets dispersed throughout it,
Okay.
and channels that away from the body. So in our head protection, especially, if you look at it, whether it's something like our soccer halo head protection that's worn right against the head. If you look at wearing the halo versus no protection, it's unbelievable
Right.
how much it absorbs. And then if you look at it in whether it's our insert that goes into a football helmet, a lacrosse helmet, a baseball helmet. We have inserts especially for all the helmeted sports, even the action sports. And if you look at it, essentially what it does, it just increases the efficiency of that helmet in dealing with energy. It can be anywhere from 25% to 75%, depending on what type of helmet it is, what make, all that stuff.
It really is amazing stuff because we're talking about state-of-the-art and top-of-the-line protection in material and fabric and touch that's a little bit thicker than my suit, maybe.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
It's kind of phenomenal and unbelievable that you guys have made this many advances in this short of a time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so cool. And speaking of that, we've got another picture here of some stuff that's coming soon. Because as you innovate, you find great stuff, but the true innovators never stop innovating, right?
Right, absolutely. And so, with the launch of this article on what we're doing in the space for preventing commotio cordis, we have a whole line of chest protection that's launching in the next 2 weeks. The container is literally clearing customs right now, coming in,
Nice.
which is fantastic. It'll be up on our website in the next 2 weeks, and we really encourage people to check it out. We call it, we brand everything as our heart protection, HART. And it's a little bit of a play, obviously, on the commotio cordis aspect, but it refers to high acceleration reduction technology. We're going to reduce the acceleration, the velocity of a ball, of a strike, of anything.
Say that again a little bit slower.
Sure, high acceleration reduction technology. So HART.
Boom.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
play with heart is kind of our motto.
Nice.
And the product line you see there, it's our baseball chest protector. It's a lacrosse goalie chest protector. It's then a padded compression shirt that you can wear underneath your jersey. As well as more of a supplemental piece that fits almost like a harness that you could buy for a team, and you can rotate it between guys who are pitchers, catchers, whomever who want that supplemental protection, and you can share it among the teammates.
That's really cool. I'll tell you, I saw a viral video this week of a lacrosse goalie that came out and wiped out a forward. I don't know if you saw it. It was the nastiest lacrosse hit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You talk about a sport where the guys need protection, and they need your type of protection.
Sure.
Because, look, lacrosse is the fastest. I think it's one of the fastest sports, right?
Yep.
These guys wear virtually no protection, and they beat the snot out of
Yeah,
each other.
absolutely.
It is a violent sport. So
Yeah.
I imagine that Unequal is looking at different arm guards and shoulder pads and stuff to probably target the lacrosse community.
Absolutely. Lacrosse is an area we're looking to get deep into, and when we started designing this goalie chest protector, again, we knew we had great technology. We wanted to make it the best chest protector in lacrosse. So we actually partnered with a gentleman by the name of Brian Doherty, who's a former All-American goalie at the University of Maryland, who won, I think, at least one national championship there. Is, I think, a Hall of Fame goalie for Major League Lacrosse, and is now the head men's lacrosse coach at Chestnut Hill University.
Cool.
And has just been an unbelievable resource for us to develop, to bring our technology into the world of lacrosse. So we want to win the goalie position first, and we're working on some pretty cool stuff there. We'll have, we'll have some stuff that I think is going to be game changing in that space, and then move from the goalie out to the field.
Yeah, well, you have to start with the goalie because you're not going to find a D-mini that's going to put any of this stuff on, right?
You know what's interesting? The most interesting part of that is we have our solo helmet insert that goes into the lacrosse helmet is becoming wildly popular just because there's been some articles out there, looking at just how protective are lacrosse helmets. I had one trainer refer to them as concussion buckets. His words.
Oh, man.
His
words, not yours.
His words, not mine. But I think there's people out there who have that sentiment, and what we do with a football helmet in terms of increasing the efficiency of it to absorb energy. If it goes, a football helmet goes from here to here. Lacrosse helmets from here to here. You know what I mean? It's amazing the impact we can have. So a lot of people are, in the field are buying into that. And again, if people trust us with their head, if they trust us for protect their head, they're going to protect us with their their
arms,
heart, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
John, this has been awesome learning about Unequal Technologies, and obviously check them out at Dick's and on the website. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to look right into that camera right there, number 2, and give all of the information pertinent to Unequal Technologies to get everybody out there to check you out.
absolutely. Unequal.com is our website. We definitely recommend you to go there. As I mentioned, we're launching new products. We have the staple of our core classics, our soccer headband, our helmet inserts, but this new line of heart protection, it's going to be available shortly, but you can pre-register now, and there will be discount codes available for people who want to get in on the this new groundbreaking technology.
Awesome. John Connors from Unequal Technologies, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Mark, appreciate it. It's been great.
My pleasure. And we'll be right back on Morning Coffee.